driving up from Melbourne, driving up to the Blue Mountains. There's a little camping spot there that I usually stay at before I drive up to northern New South Wales to go home. It was probably around about 11 o'clock, 11:30 at night. I've been driving up from Melbourne. I was coming through the back main kind of, it's only a 2-lane highway, thin highway outside Lithgow. I went over this crest of a hill. I was probably going about 80 or maybe 90 k's an hour in a 100 zone. Flew over the corner because it was a little bit bumpy, and I noticed there was a bunch of kangaroos on as I kind of passed, and they were probably maybe 3 or 4 of them. I thought, okay, well, I've got to watch out for them and not hit them. And then literally maybe 50 metres, 100 metres down the road, it looked like a person walking across the road, but they were as taller than my car. They were really, really tall, broad neck. It just looked like someone kind of, not stumbling, but kind of shuffling across the road. Big creature, tall, thick neck, hairy. And I kept driving because I was pretty shit scared after going past it. So it stuck with me for, at least half an hour afterwards. I wouldn't say shocked, but I was like, did I just see that? Like, what was that? So yeah, that was the direction I was heading towards the Blue Mountains. And I hadn't reached Lithgow yet. It was quite dark. There wasn't any street lights in that section of the highway.
When you first saw the creature, was it crossing the road from the left or the right-hand side?
The left-hand side. I saw it on the side of where I sit in the vehicle as I'm going past it. It would have been my left to my right. I thought I was going to hit it. I saw the kangaroos a bit further up, and I thought, oh, well, I watched out for them, and I kind of swerved around them a little bit, and then I came down and I saw this thing walking across the road, and then I didn't swerve for it. I kind of flew past it, and it scared the shit out of me because I thought that someone was walking across the road, and I almost ran them over.
The creature walks from left to right. When it's in the middle of the road, how far were you from it at that stage?
By the time I kind of caught up with it, or was at the same proximity to it, it was almost across the road. So it was on the kind of the edge of the road as I flew past it. And that would have been maybe only 2 metres or something away from it, 2.5 metres.
From head to toe, can you give us the most detailed description that you can?
Just tall, broad feet, broad shoulders, broad kind of head, but it didn't look like it had much of a neck. It had a neck that was just kind of a lightish brown, taller than my car. I got a Volkswagen Caddy, if you want to have a reference point. That's the car I drive. At least, taller than my vehicle. Got a rooftop camper on top as well, and I guess I can't really accurately say this, but it kind of felt like it was taller than that, and that's about 2.4 metres. I don't know, it was just huge. I just remember this thing, it looked like a rugby union player walking across the road. It was really hairy.
If you were to estimate the height in feet and inches, what would you say?
My car, without all the stuff on top, would be, 2 metres, 2.1 metres, 2.2 metres, so what's that? That's
8 feet, 7, 8 feet?
8 feet. Yeah, between that. I'd be guessing. The only answer I can give you is perspective. All I remember is the height of the car, that it was taller than the car, which is what made me go, holy shit, that's not a kangaroo.
Did the creature turn and look at you at any stage?
No. It was walking across the road. I saw it. It maybe moved its face a little bit towards me. The way I thought about it at the time after it happened was it was like someone who was really sad and they kind of a bit depressed or something. They kind of just shrug their face a little bit. They look up a little bit and they can't be bothered looking anymore. They just kind of give a quick glance and then go back to what they're doing. I didn't see its face. I just saw it kind of move its head a little bit in my direction and then back to it, and then it kept walking.
The neck and the shoulders, you say you could see a thick neck, but was it much of a neck?
I didn't see separation between the head and the shoulders very much. It was like it's all kind of fused. I know people with medical conditions where it all kind of collapses and it's all one big thing, and it kind of looks like that. It was quite big. Best example I give is a big rugby, like one of those big forwards from the rugby union. Huge, big, bulky. I don't remember definition. I didn't see muscles and things popping out. I just saw a bunch of hair, and it was just wide, big and wide and tall.
Describe the arms and legs.
Had a decent amount of build to them, but just long. I just remember them being long. I don't remember too much detail more than that, but just long, decent kind of build. I wouldn't say super, super, super big in terms of muscle tone, but had long arms. That's what I remember.
What were the arms doing while it was walking across the road? Was it in stroll motion, or did he have his arms in front of him?
No, just stroll, just hanging to the side. Almost like how an orangutan or a gorilla or something sometimes carries their arms, where they're kind of just moving and they're just kind of moving with them. They're not really out front or anything.
You'd say it had more of a human build?
Definitely, yeah. It kind of looked like a drunk man kind of shuffling across the road. Not drunk, but slowly moving, moving at its own pace, just shuffling across.
More muscular than athletic?
Yeah, just because of its size. Just big and bulky. The arms, I don't remember them being super big. I remember the legs being like really stocky, and the back and shoulders stocky, and the head I didn't get a great look at, but it was kind of, a decent size.
You wouldn't have had any eye shine because its head would have been side onto you?
Yep. And I just saw a big blob of hair, like Cousin Ed walking across the road.
Lithgow, in the year 2000, we had a witness who was walking near the old airstrip, a place called Scenic Hill, and he went up the Scenic Hill, and there was a black human-like form crashing through the bush. There was no tracks or trails in this bush. It was very thick, overgrown. Basically going through this thick bush and snapping trees. He turned and he ran away. And then 4 years later in Lithgow, 2004, our witness Glenys, she was walking her dog to a rock formation that she calls the amphitheatre, and she saw pretty much the same thing. It was the same description. Wow. She said it was black, he had black skin, he had black hair, he was almost human, very muscular. He was extremely agile, was strolling around on a narrow ledge only 5 centimetres wide, something that no human could manage to do. But both of these descriptions in 2000 and 2004, I would imagine, be the same one. What you saw in 2018, it sounds a lot more bulky, which was probably the other variety of Yowie that we often hear of. Other sightings in the area to the south would have been Hartley in 2007 and 2014. To the east was Dargan in 2000. To the west, we've got various sightings around the Cox's River area.
I've thought about it a lot since then. I just went, wow, I saw that. I definitely saw that. For my whole life, I've thought anyone who's talked about Bigfoot or Sasquatch or any of this stuff is just, high on something. And then I had this experience and I kept it to myself and I didn't tell anybody. And then I have a friend who follows some of the work of David Paulides and some of the guys in the US. And I didn't know about any of this stuff. And then since this has happened, he put me onto all this. So I listened to some of his work over there, and it's just scared the shit out of me. Like all these people disappearing in national parks, and then reading about that's happened in places here as well. And
I truly believe that a lot of missing people are contributed to these creatures. There's certain areas that I certainly wouldn't go to at night by myself. There's good and bad in them, just as there is with humans. There's good and bad and ugly with everything. You just have to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, the right place at the right time. I've only ever met one good one, and he was in the Blue Mountains. He was at Hazelbrook, down the end of Winbourne Road. He would come out at night time, and all he wanted to do is play. He was like a big kid. He just wanted to play. He'd play games, and his favourite game was, let's see how dumb the human is. He would play this game where he would try to get as close to me as he possibly could without me knowing he was there. The part of my game was to pretend that I didn't know and to let him think that, yeah, I am that stupid. When he got within a certain boundary, within my safe zone, I'd have to put on a spotlight and send him back on his way, and then he'd run back down the hill. I'd invited a couple of other guys up to witness what I was experiencing. We'd had contact with him, 6 hours had passed, and one of the guys said to me, do you think he's still here?
Yep.
I said, for sure he's still here. He's out there and he's watching us. And with that, I picked up my spotlight. I randomly pointed it in the bush and hit the button and bang him fair square in the chest. He was standing there out in the open, not hiding. He was out in the open, standing there watching us. And the reason he was doing that is because he knew that humans were as blind as bats at night time. Did he get the biggest shock? He turns to his right and he runs to the nearest tree. Unfortunately for him, the tree wasn't big enough. It was just like a thin tree. It was only about 1 foot wide and it didn't cover him. So then he runs to the next tree, which is a bit larger, and he gets behind that and he drops to all fours and he scurries backwards all the way down the hill again.
What's your theory on how they're still here? Like, do you think it's a stage of human evolution that's kind of just kept going and hasn't been killed off, or...?
I believe they are what they are. They've always been. They're just not extinct yet. Like I say, the problem with extinction is people keep seeing them. I believe they are in family groups. Where you find one, generally there's going to be another. That is a part of why you won't find a dead body, because, you know, if Uncle Harry goes and dies over there, they don't sort of kick a few leaves over him and step over him and say, oh, yeah, that's a shame. They'll pick him up and they'll go and bury him or take him away wherever they take their dead, and they won't be leaving him there for the humans.
I haven't followed too much in this, what's happening here in Australia, except for your website. After it happened, I just thought, I should speak up. I should say something, you know.